discussion. So hang on just 1 second. All right, so I just started the recording, guys. Welcome. This is the August meeting of the Be Sure Book Club. I'm David Facone. I'm the founder of Be Sure. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can find us at www.besureusa.com. Our mission statement is to be committed, to be humble, to be generous. And I'd like to welcome Kim and Amy and Mark to the book club meeting. We're reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, who was not so clear in my video, but it is by James Clear. There you go. You see my bee got worn away, Mark. Like,
yeah, I see
I've been carrying it to the beach too much and it's worn away. But so let's open it up. What did you guys take away from the second half of Atomic Habits? I mean, I have copious notes, but I want to hear from you guys first. Kim's always the first to speak, so she likes to wait and see if anybody else will.
See, I'm trying
Go,
to
Kim.
write. No, I'm actually, you guys go first because I'm getting gas, but I'm listening.
Amy, what do you got?
Well,
Hi, Amy.
I just love the idea of being able to change small habits to get big results, right? That when you think of a habit as it's like a trajectory changing thing. And I like how he ended the book too, when he said that small habits don't add up, they multiply. Or did he say, is that what he said at the end? I don't remember. But
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah, like there's an exponential benefit to your habits. So yes, they multiply over.
Yeah, like they don't add up, they multiply. And I remember thinking about that and going like it just kind of blew my mind. And you know, that we think we need to make these big, massive changes in our lives, but we don't. We can make small changes and just be consistent over time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you reminded me of a quote that from the book that I wrote down where, you know, there are decisive moments in your life and in your day even, you know, so, you know, if you want to eat better, are you going to cook or are you going to order takeout, right? So if you decide, hey, I'm just going to, you know, I'm going to grin and bear it, I'm going to cook a meal, you know, it's not as easy as picking up the phone and waiting for somebody to bring it to me. But if I could just go to the kitchen and cook a meal, then I'm going to definitely eat more healthy than if I was to order out. And I know, you know, for me, being that I work from home 99% of the time, you know, that really struck a chord with me because I know if I get up early, like this morning, I woke up an hour before my alarm went off. I was supposed to get up at 6:30. I woke up at 5:30. And typically I would go downstairs, sit on the couch, turn on SportsCenter. And, you know, if I didn't have an 8 a.m. meeting today where I had to be out of the house, that 5:30, you know, wake up could turn into 3 hours on the couch watching TV. And for me, the decisive moment is, you know, get up and just skip the couch. You know, I literally walk past my living room to go to my office. So if I can get my butt to not sit down on the couch, that's a win for me already.
That's a great story. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
I
walk past my living room to get to my office as well.
Do you? Oh yeah, and it's, you know, especially if the remote is out there, you know, maybe I left a blanket on the couch from the night before, like it looks all comfy to be in there, and it's hard to pass by sometimes, but you know, it's necessary. I think in my Montclair group meeting this morning, I mentioned how you know, in the book he talks about how, you know, we have the choice of whether we make a day a good day or a bad day, right?
Yep.
Like we all have things that are, you know, unpleasant. So, you know, you have an unpleasant thing that you have to deal with, whether it's an unpleasant call you have to make or an unpleasant, you know, client meeting or whatever it is. And, you know, we have the choice of whether we're going to just make the most of it, move on and make the day okay, or, you know, let that get in the way of what could ultimately be a better day.
I like where your head's at, David. Awesome.
Do you, Mark? What
I do.
I mean,
I do.
I'm always, you know, I'm a half full guy all the time.
Oh no, I know that. But you're like you're getting fit. You know, you're like, you know, you're getting up early. You and I are gonna be running soon together in the mornings.
Well, I'll never run, but we can get up early.
Play golf in
We
the
can-
morning.
We
You
can,
play
we can
golf
get
early.
the tea time, the first tea time of the day. I love getting out, when there's dew on the ground, on the course. I love that. That's the best time to play. So
Well,
that I'll do.
for me, it's been an interesting month because I am definitely a creature of my habits, and when I started at the digital marketing agency back in January, after basically being furloughed from Corona for 8 months, it was like all of a sudden, boom, right, getting right back into a schedule again. And there are certain parts of my schedule which always kind of are there, like waking up early and stuff. But when you don't have that purpose in life of going to something, when you're just applying to jobs all day and whatever, it's just like so getting back into January, and then all of a sudden, boom, now July comes and I decide to leave the marketing agency, and it's just like, but now I have something that's my own that I'm working on. So, and now I am working from home. So again, it's sort of falling into that same category, but it's like, and I see you do have to be mindful of your time. You do have to be mindful of what you're doing. And now I'm on a running schedule for the marathon, and it's just like, you have to make sure that you fit all these things into your time.
When are you running a marathon?
I'm running New York in November. So yeah.
That's a great marathon too.
Yeah, I've run it a few times already, so it's exciting. Yeah, so I'm like, and I have my training schedule here, and I just pick off the days when I run, and it's just really simple, and it's just all about I just love his concept of making the good habits easy and making the bad habits hard. I was like, as you were saying about the remote, I'm thinking, I guess you could take out the batteries at night, like go put them on a shelf somewhere, right? It's like,
Right.
make the hard habits, or make the bad habits hard, right?
You're right.
Well, but to your point, I mean, as Dave was talking, I mean, I totally can relate to that because I have tons of like bad habits, but that isn't one of them. Like I don't think I've ever turned on my television during the day because so my TV is in like an armoire, and it's got a little doors that close on it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I am watching TV at night, I'm literally in that, like, it's not even something I think about. I'm in the habit of, I go set the remote down in front of the TV and I close the armoire. So I don't even see, but the funny thing is, I've been working on, when I come out in the morning, the blanket is a mess on the couch and I don't like the way that looks. So I'm trying to get in the habit of folding that and putting it, because I come out in the morning and then I like fix it so that when I'm going from my office to the kitchen, I'm not looking at a messy, but yeah, it's never even occurred to me to turn on the television unless it's like after work and I'm exhausted. And it might be because I don't even see it.
For me, it's just like, especially later in the week, so I have two networking meetings on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday right now. So, Thursday by 9:30 is my last meeting for the week. And I'm tired by then. So like on a Friday morning, especially, I'm like, oh, I wake up, I'm like, oh, I don't have any meetings. And, to go and sit on my office chair isn't as comfortable as sitting on my couch. So it's like, oh, well, maybe I'll just go get my laptop and I'll work from here today. But yeah, you're just never as productive. I mean, as a matter of fact, Kim and I, we have said that we're going to try to work in her office like once a week. And, we do it maybe once a month or twice a month. But even when we're working at her office, I feel like I could be more productive just because I'm somewhere else. Like I'm focusing strictly on work. However, she and I always have something that comes up, but usually it's a good thing that comes. Like she introduced me to this lady I was talking about at her new apartment building, and this is going to be a big win for my company thanks to that introduction. And but for me working at Kim's office that day and her inviting me to meet this person, I wouldn't have had this great opportunity. So I still believe everything happens for a reason. But I think making those little choices. It's funny, Mark, you said, now that you're doing things on your own, I'm sure you're, hopefully getting reinvigorated a little bit. Is that the case? You feel like you're extra motivated to do things for you personally now?
I always like to think I'm always invigorated, but yes, I mean, for sure. It's like, there's always, being an entrepreneur, being your own boss, whatever you want to call it, it's exciting, and it's a million different emotions all at one time. 'Cause it's the highs of moving forward. It's maybe stumbling a little bit. You also have to be your own cheerleader, so I think, and I just think that this is where all these habits are so important. Like if you start to like for me, I always find those first 3 hours of the day to be like the most important time, because like that just like sets me up for the rest of the day. And if I skip something, like if I miss a workout or whatever, then it's just, I know my day is always going to be a little bit off. Like, I'll be wondering, when I'm going to get my workout in or whatever. So it's just, but yeah, I mean, I feel great. I'm very excited about what I'm doing, and, be ready to roll it out soon enough. But, the book's coming along great. And and I have to find time for that now. So it's like all these little things happen, and, I'm really busy. I'm super busy all day long, which is great, but I love it. And it's just fun. And it's just nice to start building those habits, like, just again with the book. And, one thing you guys were talking about before, which kind of triggered in my mind, I remember when I was like working in an office with like a bunch of people, I remember like every day at like 11:55, I'd start getting hungry. It's like you just like you become like Pavlov's dog. If you hear the bell, you're hungry, right? It's like, oh my God, it's 11:55. We're gonna be eating in 10 minutes. I'm hungry. Like it's so funny how we just get ruled by our everyday habits. So I just think it's.
Yeah, I don't eat during the day anymore.
Okay, you're fasting, intermittent fasting.
Not intentionally. I mean, I'll drink my protein shakes, but I don't generally like eat lunch.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no one around me like to remind me to eat lunch. I don't know. Yeah, like I'm not.
It's funny, Amy, I made a decision to try to lose a couple pounds, and I just came back. I was away on vacation last week, but so I just, sort of went off the rails, which I expected to, but now I'm back on the wagon now that I'm home. But, it's actually been an improvement, not only in my health. I lost about 11, 12 pounds before I went on vacation, but, I've never been like a meal prepper or planner, but in terms of changing our habits, my wife, who's a vice principal, is off for 5 weeks. So she's off for she goes back to work in 2 more weeks from now. But now that she's home, she goes to the store. Hey, what do you want me to get you for, to eat for the week? And I'm saying, hey, just
well, I wasn't sure because you were so still. I'm like, wait, are you both frozen or just?
Oh, am I frozen?
No, he's frozen for sure.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. Well, like.
Can I take a picture of that?
Yeah.
And so I do.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you in the morning.
Yeah, 10 a.m. right?
Yeah.
Eastern time.
Eastern time.
Okay.
I'm in Pacific, so it'll be 7 a.m.
Oh, okay.
But I get up at 4:30.
My girl.
Pretty much every morning. Usually my first appointment is at 6. Tomorrow though, you're my first. My 6 a.m. moved to Thursday. So
I mean, if you want to do it in the afternoon, my time, I'm fine. If it's better for you.
I don't have any openings in the afternoon tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
So, but yeah, like I said, I'm up at 4:30. Sometimes earlier, when he was talking about waking up an hour before your alarm, for me, that would be 3:30. And no, an hour before my alarm would be 4. So I like set an intention to wake up at 4:30. Like that's my time. And I usually do, but I set my alarm for 5 just in case I don't wake up. Well, and it lets me know because I'll wake up. I usually wake up, I look, it's usually 4:30. I grab my coffee and I start reading. So then the alarm goes off at 5. Then I know it's 5. Like that's my program. So an hour before my alarm would be.
That's great.
But if I wake up between 3:30 and 4, I never really know what to do because I'm like, I don't want to go back to sleep for such a short amount of time, but I don't want to be up that early.
Yeah, and I hear you. I mean, sometimes I get up at like 3:55 and I'm like, what should I do? But I'm up around then also. I like it. Just normal for me at this point. It's habit. Everything's our habits, right? Everything's our habits.
I love going outside and watching the sunrise. I love my morning time, and I love that nobody bothers me.
Right. What's up, David? Are you getting bad weather up there?
Yeah, it's raining. It's raining. There was a little bit of thunder and lightning a little while ago. I mentioned I lost power earlier today, but it had nothing to do with the rains. I don't know why my internet just got a little fuzzy. I'm sorry.
Happens.
So
Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I was listening.
So Mark's got to jump off in a few minutes, but I wanted to give him.
Wait, Dave, real quick. So just because I was listening, but the thing about coming to the office, that was huge for me. And we actually talked about it this week. You guys will hear it when we launched the second episode of the podcast. But it was about how that habit for me, forcing myself for several months to go to the office and get dressed and put my heels on and put my dress on and go to the office, even though I was the only one there. Like that was a huge habit, positive habit to keep me going during COVID. So, and I heard what you said. It's like, knowing that you have to meet somebody there or they're going to count on you. And then, look, like you said, look what happened with, meeting that new person for your business. So.
And that's what I struggle with. You and Mark know this. This is what I struggle with Be Sure, trying to, give the members all the value that they deserve through their membership. I try to preach all the time that our meetings and events and one-on-ones and all that need to be a priority to everyone, because you never know who you're going to meet, and just the more interactions you have with somebody, the more opportunities you have. It's just getting at bats. It's just getting at bats and raising your batting average, by accident. But I wanted to say, I started to say Mark's got another appointment that he's got to get to, but I asked Mark either, I forget, earlier today or yesterday. I wanted to thank him for being on the call every month, and I wanted Mark to choose the next book. So Mark, why don't you announce what we're going to be reading between now and September?
Well, I like to go to the public library every now and then and just see what hits me, which is fun. It's just, you never know. I mean, I'll tell you, the public library in my town is great. We have a ton of books, obviously, and you just never know what's going to hit you. So I actually got 2 books out of there the other day. And the one I haven't read yet, so I'm excited to read it with everybody. It's called Someday Is Not a Day in the Week.
Ooh, I've heard of that book.
And it's by a woman named Sam Horn. Is it backwards on your screen?
No, it's right. It's correct.
Okay, I just see it backwards on mine then. And I just breezed over a couple of pages of it, and it looks very interesting. And it's it's a little bit of self-helpish, but a little bit of habity. It's just trying to perform at your best, which is always, I think, what we all need to do. I mean, look, primarily we're all kind of in the solopreneur or small business type world, and I think one thing we were just talking about before, Dave, when you were saying my own thing, is like, you got to be your own cheerleader, man. You can't. It's really hard to have a bad day when it's only you to rely on. So I think performing at our peak is always a thing that we need to be doing, and trying to get better and aligning ourselves with other good people that are also hold you accountable. And so I think this is going to be a great book. I'm excited to read it with everybody.
We can, I'll reach out to, I know you have it already, obviously, Mark. I'll reach out to Margot at Watchung Booksellers, and, I could probably just search for it on our website, because I know initially we were hoping we could get many, many books sold for her, but, it's only been 4 or 5 of us every month. So I think me and Kim should be able to buy that online if we want to and go pick it up. Real quick before you got to jump, Mark, I know, you touched on something that in Atomic Habits also was sort of talked about, how, as solopreneurs, things that we find interesting or things that we're good at quickly become sort of routine and boring, right? And how, he talks about how overcoming the boring is what is going to make somebody successful. Being able to, turn something that's a passion into, something that's repetitive. I don't know, you guys might have heard me mention this before. My buddy Ray, who trained me in sales, he would always say structure and discipline leads to profit. So structure meaning develop a plan that works, and discipline meaning repeat it every single time. And it's the repetition that becomes the boring part, right? So you develop a sales process in your business and it works. So every new customer is hearing that pitch for the first time, and you're delivering that pitch for the 1,000th time, and that becomes very boring and routine. But it's getting through that successfully that's going to make you, that benefits long run. I thought that was interesting.
I'll give you a good quote. Bruce Lee said, "I fear the man who's practiced one kick 1,000 times, not the man who's practiced 1,000 kicks one time."
That's right.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah, Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce
Hiya.
Leroy.
Hiya. Bruce Leroy. Nice.
Well, the other thing too is, one of the things, Dave and I don't know, Dave, people might think we're crazy, like, right? Because there's a fine line. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Facebook today, but I stood in line this morning for the girls for donuts for 50 minutes, 50. I was number 17 in line. And so, of course, I, posted, I'm like, great mom or crazy mom? It's a fine line. But I believe about that as far as the networking group, like, right, our networking group about Be Sure. So I'm driving back tonight and getting home at 11:30, so I'm there tomorrow morning. My friends, Spencer's friend that she's staying, that I dropped her off to stay with, I'm also, I'm good friends with the parents. And they're like, just stay, just stay tonight. Just don't go. And I'm, it's very easy to do. And I'm like, no, I'm like, I made a commitment. And I also, I don't know, and I do have a point to this. For me, a habit also is like people are relying on me to be there and to be, helping lead the meeting and helping do things. And so to me, that's a good habit because other people are expecting me there and need me there. So I think that's another, that's a habit. That's a habit for me too.
Yes.
And Ray, who taught me structure and discipline, also taught me the fish stinks from the head down. So, if the leader is showing a good example, then the people that they're leading should follow them better. If the leader blows something off, and not that you would be blowing it off, you staying in Delaware would be a very reasonable excuse. but I see your point. You're setting the example for the group to show that everybody should take it seriously.
Well, I apologize that I double booked this time, but I do got to jump. So thank you, everybody.
Double book. You double booked the book club.
I double booked the book club.
One's an author club, to be fair.
One's the authors club, correct.
Right.
I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
All right, Mark. Have a good meeting.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. But that, so you know what? I'm glad that you said that, Dave, because yes, it would be a reasonable excuse to be like, hey, I'm taking I never take vacation. I'm going to stay one night, what? But I was already I'd already committed to myself, right? We need to commit to ourselves what we're going to do and not do. But the other thing is somebody in our group texted me today and was like, oh my gosh, I miss seeing you. Are you going to be there tomorrow? Because they saw me post on Facebook that I was in Delaware.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, yes, I will absolutely be there. I hope to see you there. And, I'm coming back for it. So,
right.
Again, doesn't mean you have to be crazy about things, but I do believe that sometimes people don't take commitments and or habits, right? They're both, in my opinion. Sometimes habits and commitments are a little kind of like one and the same.
Well, and think about now, how much more productive you'll be tomorrow, right? So the fact that you are making the trek up here tonight and coming to the meeting for 8:30, now you're here, and like you said, you're dressed, you're ready for a day of work, where if your friends convince you to stay, tomorrow would have been a dead day, probably. It would have been a day that you would have been unproductive and it would have been wasted, business wise. Not that you don't deserve a break, but you know.
No, you're right. No, you're right. Because then after that, actually, I'm to your point. Then Mark and I are headed to my office, and he has a call, and then I have my coaching session with Amy. Right? It's like you're exactly right. Like, I mean, I could have taken that from the beach, but again, it's like I made the commitment to be in person, and so I will be there tomorrow. So I think sometimes commitments and habits are a little bit interchangeable, and we need to think about the habits that we commit to. So Amy, what's your take on that from a coaching perspective?
Well, it's interesting because habits and commitments, there's like a fine line. It's not that they're the same thing. It's that people get into the habit of breaking commitments.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's right. That's true. That's exactly
That's
right.
the struggle. That's the struggle I talk about all the time. I mean, just this morning at my meeting, wait, let me check my text messages. So I'm going to tell you exactly when this happened. I'm not going to say who it was. Our meeting starts at 8:00. And at 8:30, somebody said me saying, I'm not going to make it there today.
And that's a habit. Like that person probably does that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. And, it's just, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because, listen, in Be Sure, like in life, you get what you pay for. You get what you give, and if you give nothing, you get nothing. But that's okay. But it's just I can't tell you. It's an uphill battle for some people because listen, the 80-20 rule, 20% of the people are doing 80% of the work, and you could really see that if your group, Kim, is 15 members. Then you got 3 or 4 that are rock stars, right? You got 3 or 4 that are rock stars, you got 3 or 4 that are average, and you got 3 or 4 that are below. And it's like, you want to try to train the people that are below to be average or better, but I've learned in my experience that training someone like that is hard, unless they're open to be trained.
Well, I was going to say, so that brings up a good point, right? And I know, and it really is all related, right, with the habits, and like you said. So, Amy, say that one more time, because you're recording this, Dave. I think that is so good, and those are the words that I was looking for. So, say that again. It's because I'm like they're similar, but they're not the same.
Yeah, and it's not that they're the same. It's that people get into the habit of breaking their commitments. Like that's a habit, right? So a commitment is its own thing, but people are in the habit of breaking them, or people are in the habit of keeping them.
Right.
Right? Like there's a friend of mine that I run with.
That's right. So Dave, what?
You're breaking up a little bit, Kim.
Oh, I'll put on mute. Sorry.
No, Amy, why don't you finish what you were started to say? There's a friend of yours you run with?
I have a friend that I run with, or I used to, right? We used to meet at like 5:30 at the state park. And I remember one day she had said to me, she was like, "You're the most reliable person I know." Because it was like pouring down rain. It's 5:30 in the morning. It's in the dark. So of course, when she had gotten up, she didn't want to come, but she's like, I knew, because I lived about 30 minutes away. And she lived like 5 minutes from the park. So when she got up she's like, I didn't want to go. She goes, but I knew that you were probably already in your car and on your way there. So I had to, she's like, if it was anyone else, I would have texted and been like, are you still in bed? It was literally like sideways rain,
Mm-hmm.
But of course I was there. I had my headlamp, had an extra one for her. It literally, until she had said that, it didn't even occur to me. I mean, I got up and I was like, well, this will be interesting, but it didn't occur to me to cancel.
Right.
It was on my calendar. Like,
oh yeah.
Right. Because you made your commitment to have it. Yeah.
And
like, I'm in the habit of keeping commitments, but a lot of people are in the habit of breaking commitments, or when it's not convenient, or we'll wait and see.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I'll make plans unless something better comes along. But it's stupid to say. It's like, it's really just the golden rule, right? Treat people the way you want to be treated. I know it drives me bananas when I have something planned and then somebody cancels on me, last minute, or, at an inappropriate time. That makes me mental when that happens. So
Yeah.
I never want to make somebody feel that way.
Yeah.
Kim, anything else from the book that you noticed? I know you're driving and you probably can't look at your notes.
I can't look at my notes. And as we all know, so next time I'll have to take out, so lesson learned. Well, usually I'm not in the car, right? But all my sticky notes, I guess I should have taken them out of my book and taken a picture of them. No, sorry.
It's
No.
okay. I mean, talking. So, sort of piggybacking on what we're talking about, I made the note that said, motivation is the key to habit change. You must want to do. You must want to do something. So, everybody says, "Oh, I want to break this habit," but how motivated are you to do it? I mean, you can't just say it. You got to really be motivated to do it. Talking about Amy running. People showing up to our meetings. Just being professional, doing things like you say you're going to do it. You on paper maybe you want to do it, but until actions speak louder than words. So it's like let me see what other notes that I made that are interesting. So he told the story in the book about how I don't know if this was him. I don't remember if it was him or somebody else who wanted to go to the gym in the morning and left their apartment in the city at 5:30 and hailed a cab, and they knew that as soon as they got in the cab, then they were headed to the gym. And he said, make that the new habit is the cab, not the gym, right? So just like I said, for me, if I want to begin the habit of working in my office early in the morning, that it is walking past the sofa to get here. It's not go, that's the habit. You got to train yourself to skip the thing that gets in your way to do the thing that you need to do.
Well, that's when Amy said, I love the one, Amy, that's really stuck with me. The one about the food, if you want to eat better. Remember that one? That one is huge.
Grocery store.
Oh, well, I started to say that, I think, when my Wi-Fi froze before. I started to say that, my wife's off for 5 weeks because she's an educator. And while she's home, she went to the grocery store today and she said, oh, what do you want me to buy for you for the week? And I gave her 5 or 6 things that are healthy choices. And because I know that if it's in the house, I'll eat it the right way. And if I don't have bad stuff, I can't eat it. So, I mean, she helped start that habit for both of us, which is great. And because of that, I've been eating better. Oh, I found another note that I wrote, Kim, and this speaks to exactly what you were talking about with coming home tonight instead of, staying down there. In the book, he said, lost days hurt you more than successful days help you. So if you
oh my God. Yes.
Yes. That was super powerful. He said that, if you have a 50% win, you go from 100 to 150. But if you have a 33% loss, you go back to 100. So it's like, so a smaller loss hurts you more than a bigger win helps you.
Well, and I think so, Dave, you hit it on the head too when you said earlier, it was, yes, the commitment, right? The habit or the commitment, whatever, is the commitment was, I said I would be there. I help lead the group. It's my group, right? So I'm going to be there. But what you said really resonated too. It also just sets the tone for the day. So it would have been a wasted, quote unquote, wasted day. And that's one of the things, Amy, you and I are going to talk about it tomorrow, but that's one of the things I want to, I actually want to, so Amy, hold me to this tomorrow. Now that Beckham's at school, and Spencer's, she's more independent, right? So I want to get into the habit of, really trying to shut down at night at a certain time and not check my email and not check my phone because it's me, right? No one's putting a gun to my head. It's my bad habit.
It is.
I think
So
go ahead, Amy. Sorry, I want to comment on this too.
No, comment on it. I was just agreeing and writing down so I remember in the morning.
yeah, but
So-
I think
so
that's
I-
very
I-
right. It's like something that I want to do for myself, right? And that's a bad habit.
I said this to you 2 weeks ago when we were after our meeting. I said to you, every time I see you, you mention, oh my God, I'm working like crazy. Oh my God, I worked 15 hours yesterday. Oh my God, nobody works as hard as I work. And you say it, not, I don't want to say you're proud of it. I don't want to say you're bragging. It's not bragging, it's not proud. But I said to you, you should instead be proud. Hey, I shut it down at 6 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah.
Instead of being proud that, oh my God, I'm working more than anybody and I'm losing my mind and I'm not getting rest and I'm sacrificing time with my friends and family. Like, don't tell people about that. Say, oh my God, I had a great productive day yesterday and I was able to shut it down at 5 o'clock. It was a great day and I got to relax. That's what you should be proud about.
Well, yeah, I
Because-
mean, it's not. Listen, it is not bragging. Like
I know that.
It's frustration with myself. Well, one is workload, right? It's just we've never been busier. It's an industry, right? It's a problem in our industry right now. So that's number one. Number two, it's a bandwidth issue, which I'm addressing, which is awesome. But but the thing that doesn't help all of that, okay, because those are real problems, right? Is my bad habit. Right. Amy knows what I mean. So I have a bandwidth issue. The industry's never been so busy. And then my bad habit is the cherry on top of, one more email, help one more person, right?
Yeah.
Because that's my nature. And so that's one of the things that I want to get out of the bad habit of. And create a new good habit.
I think your personality is a double-edged sword. I think you enjoy talking to people, right? So you could get on the phone with somebody and that you could have a 10-minute business conversation and get the result that you need, but that 10 minutes might turn into half an hour just because you're shooting the what and having a good time, and then you have 10 of those conversations a day, and those 10 conversations are now 5 hours instead of 1 hour.
Absolutely.
Because you and I do it all the time, Kim. Whenever we're talking to each other, it's 6 tangents. It's 6 tangents, and we could talk about a million different things, but there's only so much time in the day to sort of streamline, and then otherwise it gets out of control. Did we lose Kim in Delaware? Did she fall in the Delaware River?
It looks like her.
No, I'm here. I keep taking it, putting it on mute, so because I don't want to.
Oh, it doesn't sound bad on our end. On our end, we can't hear anything. No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. No, taking it off mute.
Amy, is that coming through unclear for you too, or just me?
Sounds like it's under one.
Because I would. It's not getting too in the weeds, like which. Hello.
Yeah, Kim, you must be driving through a bad spot because you're all broken up now. Yeah, we're gonna lose her. Yeah, if she's somewhere in South Jersey, there's gonna be terrible reception.
Well, that's too bad.
Oh yeah, Kim just texted me. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, I keep forgetting this is being recorded. We keep going off on our own tangents and have
No,
nothing.
listen. If anybody reaches out to me and says, "Hey, I tried watching your book club and you guys talked about yourselves a lot," that would be a victory for me. I would be okay with that. because at least it means somebody's watching it.
There you go. There you go.
Yep, that'll prove to me that
That'd be
that
amazing
someone.
feedback.
Yes, yeah. So Kim just texted me, what is Amy's thoughts on that? But we didn't hear what you said. We
You have no
didn't.
idea what she said. Can she hear us?
Let's see. Can you hear
But I do think
us?
she should be in the discipline of turning it off at a certain time.
She said she can hear us.
Oh, well, then there's my thoughts. That's all. I didn't hear everything you said, but I do think that that you should be in the habit of turning it off. I agree with that. We can
Yeah,
dive
totally.
into that. That's like a massive boundary issue too.
I mean, and that could be any business, like,
Every business.
I have a to-do list. Like every time I have an idea, I make a note in my phone, right? And I have a huge list. I mean, and these are things that, like things I want to do in my business eventually. It's not something that I needed to do yesterday. It's just ideas, So, today as I'm launching new groups, I'm thinking about, we have meetings with different topics. Like today, this morning with one of my newest groups, I played a clip of Simon Sinek, who talks about start with why. I'm sure you've seen that. So,
Yep.
That's a theme for one of my meetings. So I just, I made a note as I was driving today. I made a note, just make a list of all my different themes for all of my meetings. So as my company grows and I launch group after group, I want to remember, hey, early on we got to play the Simon Sinek video, right? So it's something that I need to do that'll help me streamline. It's not something that needs to be done immediately, but it's added to the to-do list. And yeah, I mean, if I wanted to get all my to-dos checked off, I wouldn't sleep for 2 weeks. So
Right.
it's like, you got to shut it down at some point.
But then do you ever circle back and start working on those things?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's when I'm like, I'm getting better at streamlining my week. So because like I mentioned, I have meetings Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. So lately my procedure has been on Monday, sit down, plan for the whole week. What I used to do is, Monday I'd plan for Tuesday I'd plan for Wednesday.
Oh
It's just,
yeah.
it's just easier for me to sit down on a Monday and spend an extra hour or two and plan for the entire week. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, after my meetings are over, I can address my to-do list.
Yeah.
I'm becoming more, I'm becoming more productive in that way.
Yeah. I plan for the whole week that way. Yeah.
It definitely makes life that much easier. It's, you take something that's hanging over my head because, like anybody that has a 9-to-5 job, on Sunday night, you start getting that feeling in your gut, like, oh my God, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. So, I don't really feel that Sunday night, but Monday morning, I start getting that feeling saying, hey, I need to get my ducks in a row and plan for my 4 meetings on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But, having this week was, because I was away last week, yesterday was really the first day I said, look, I'm going to come back from vacation. I'm going to do things a little bit differently. Yesterday morning, sat down, knocked it out for the week. And that allowed me to have 2 meetings today that I probably wouldn't have had otherwise because I would have been preparing for tomorrow, but I did that already, which was great.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
I guess we're not going to get Kim back. I don't know. Kim, unmute yourself. Let's see if we can hear you. If you can hear us. Ask to unmute. Let's see. I'll text Kim. If you're watching us on YouTube, we can be found at BeSureUSA.com.
I'm sure someone's watching us.
My text isn't even going through, so she must be in a really dead zone. Oh, we just lost her. She's gone. Well, Amy, why don't we call it a day since it's just you and I? So for next,
I'm not good enough for you?
No, you're awesome. I mean, the fact that you were able to braid your hair in the middle of this conversation was unbelievable. I've never seen that before.
Oh, really?
I've tried to braid mine for years and I just haven't had it. I wasn't successful at all.
Honestly, that would be a lot more impressive if you.
That would be. I mean, it's actually much long. You don't get to see the back, but it is quite. You know, I could definitely do it if I wanted to.
You have a ponytail?
I used to, by sophomore year of high school, I did.
All right. Someday is not a day in the week by Sam Horn. I'm ordering it now.
There it is. So that's going to be our book for next month, rather. I think we're going to keep it as the second Tuesday of the month. Everybody, the consensus is that, the first Tuesday of the month, could be a busy time for people wrapping up, month end or, spillover. So I think we'll keep it as the second Tuesday of the month. It seems to be better for everybody. So thank you to Mark Moskowitz for recommending the book next month, which is Someday is Not a Day in the Week by Sam Horn. We'll figure out what half of that book is approximately. I meant to ask Mark, but he had a run. So we'll figure out what half of the book is, and we'll talk about the first half on the September meeting, which, let me look at my calendar, what day that'll be. So that'll be September 14th will be our next Be Sure Book Club meeting. I'll send out the invites shortly. And big thank you to our regular guest, Amy, who, if anybody is out there watching this video and needs a biz coach, definitely reach out to Amy. Amy, why don't you talk about your, announce your website or something if anybody wants to reach out to you.
Southwestern Coaching. You can just go on to southwesterncoaching.com and under coaches, find Amy Donaldson.
Perfect. So it's always a pleasure to see you, Amy. Thanks for all your contributions, and I look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you.
Have a great night. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye.